Hi, welcome to Hour of Code. I'm Mrs. C, and this is
I'm Mrs. Z.
And today we're going to be looking at the new science curriculum. We're going to look at computer science today.
So what exactly is coding, kids? Well, we need to provide our computers a very specific set of instructions in order for it to work and do what we want it to do. And that set of instructions need to have a specific sequence, which is also called an algorithm. Today, we're going to be giving you a set of no-tech instructions. With Mrs. C, we're going to be making some origami, and I will also be talking about how a recipe can be a set of instructions, just like for a computer and coding.
Origami is the art of paper folding. We're going to follow a sequence of instructions where we can transform paper into something else.
So how is this computer science and linked to coding? Well, it's algorithmic thinking. Remember, I said an algorithm is following a set of instructions in a very specific order or sequence. Decomposition means taking something complicated and breaking it down into smaller parts. And that's what we need to do when we're coding a computer. There's many different pieces behind when you're going on the internet or sending an email, but we have to decompose those into smaller pieces. Abstraction too is taking something very complicated and figuring out the pieces and making it easier. So we're going to do a whole bunch of pieces of computational thinking today.
First step, you're going to take out a square piece of paper. I have a red one here. We pre-measured a squared piece of paper. So you can get that out and get it ready to go. You're going to put it flat on your table in front of you, and you are going to have a rhombus shape with the end point facing your tummy.
Can you guess what we're going to make? We're going to be making a heart today because it's Hour of Code and we love coding and we love our friends. So our first step, Ms. Campbell, is we're going to take that bottom tip and match it to our top tip, essentially fold it in half.
I'm going to line up the 2 points. Then I'm going to put the paper down flat on my table. And when I have the 2 points meeting and when I have it where I like it, I'm going to flatten it. Commit to the fold and make that crease.
So now you've got a triangle shape. Open it up again to get your rhombus. Nice fold.
Now I'm going to do it again, but on the opposite way. So I'm going to turn my rhombus. I'm going to make the 2 points match by taking the bottom up to the top. When I'm happy with my 2 points meeting, I'm going to put it flat on my desk. I'm going to commit to the fold and use my pointer finger to push down on the paper.
Wow, nice series of instructions. Okay, open up that paper again to your rhombus, and we're only going to focus on the top tip now. Just fold that down to the center, Miss Campbell.
So I'm happy with my point reaching the middle of the rhombus. I'm going to lay it flat on my desk, and I'm going to use my pointer finger to commit to that fold. Push it down.
Now we're going to touch the bottom of your heart and fold it up to the top. Next, we're going to be focusing on the sides of our heart and getting them to look more like the shape. We're going to do one half of our heart.
I'm going to take this side point and I'm just going to bring it over to the edge, and I'm going to do a little bit of a twist. This is going to take some time lining up. So it's okay to move your paper back and forth until you get it to the spot where you like it. I'm going to use that middle fold line to help me. And I'm going to line up the edges with that middle fold. When I have it where I like it, I'm going to put it back down onto my table and commit to the fold.
Awesome. Next, we're going to do the same thing with the other side to get our heart shape. Some nice symmetry there. Looking closer, but we're not quite done with our series of instructions. We're going to round it off a little bit. We have these pointy edges. Let's fold in 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to round out and create that heart shape.
These side points are going to go in, and these top points are going to fold down. This is what it looks like from the front, and this is the back. There's the top points from the front, and I've got my opening, and the back with those folded down points.
Nicely done. What happens if you think we didn't follow our order of instructions, Ms. Campbell?
Well, I don't think it would look like a heart. So what I might have to do is I might have to pause the video, I can rewind, and I can go back to debug and find out where I missed that part of the instructions and try again. Origami is working with paper, and paper is very forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back, you can try again, you can refold, or you can get a new piece of paper and start again.
Well, let's see how origami is actually used by scientists.
So origami in science is really big. It helps make jobs a little more efficient. This is a solar panel array that's used at a space station and is placed on a rocket ship. But we know that there is really limited space when we're bringing materials up into space. So these solar panel arrays were created, and they actually fold up nice and neat. When they're ready to be brought out into space, they fold back out into that big circle that you see there.
We also have origami keeping us safe every day in our car. We have airbags, which would inflate upon impact. But to have that cushion, there's a lot of material that needs to be carefully folded into the center of our steering wheel to keep us safe.
Plants and insects and nature really uses origami. I like to say that nature really, nature actually inspired a lot of our origami concepts. So we can see that there is a ladybug on the side. And did you know that when a ladybug is ready to fly, it actually unfolds its wings from underneath its shell, and then those wings expand so it's ready to fly. We also have a plant that's on the other side, and those plants, that leaf only starts to unfold as it starts to grow. So next time you have a seedling or you have a plant that's growing in your home or outside, watch and see how those leaves unfold as they start to grow.
We're going to continue adding on to our origami algorithm. An algorithm, once again, is a set of steps to complete a task. And a recipe is another great example of an algorithm that we use all the time. We'd like you now to write a recipe for friendship, and we're going to put our recipe into our heart later. It can look however you want, but to be a good friend, we also need to follow some steps. We could use things like a conditional statement. If you want a hug, then you need to ask. That's something you could write together in your class. You could use a whiteboard, you could use paper, and then you can tuck that into your little heart. Thank you for joining us for Hour of Code and New Science.
Happy folding!